It's incredible to win awards, period, but I think from a community of content marketers, it just means that much more.
Special, very special to win a content marketing award because this is a community of our peers across industries.
It's content experts, judging the best content programs is so much more special than just, a general marketing award. And
there's other awards that have a category for content or something like that, but the trade craft of doing content marketing well, it's so nuanced, it's so deep, and the Content Marketing Awards really recognize every aspect of it. So there's categories for research, for strategy, for design, for storytelling, and so being able to have awards that feel like the representative of the work that we're doing is really great for us.
Being able to accept this award on behalf of our peers is really humbling and thrilling at the same time.
So to win this award is pretty special.
Hello, everyone. This is Amanda with the Content Marketing Institute. I'm so happy you are joining us this afternoon for another episode of Live with CMI. And as always, I'm excited to be joined by my colleague, JK. How are we, JK?
Oh, I am fantastic, Amanda. It's great being here with you once again on this lovely. Can you believe we're above freezing here in the Midwest? there might be light at the end of the tunnel. So
we're slowly but surely thawing out here, which is really nice.
So you can tell by our bright and shiny smiles
that,
it's not so gloomy outside. We can go.
I wore some color. I had gray on. I was like, you know what? I feel like having some color on today.
Yes. Light jackets. Oh, I cannot wait. It's just so pleasant here. I'm not looking at the big gray bucket mess. So, but yes, it's great to be back. It's always wonderful to, kind of take this time to connect with everybody and just really kind of get back into the community and saying hello to everybody. So welcome.
Right. Yeah. Our friend Andy's already here. Hello, Andy.
Andy.
Good to see you as well. Well, it is a tough job market out there these days, and it takes months or even years for some people to find a new job. So many of you may be toying with this idea of either going out on your own or maybe eventually building your own agency or consultancy. So today we have some advice if that's something that you are thinking about, right, JK?
It's so right. I mean, it can be scary to think about striking it out on your own. I mean, a lot of people think about doing it, but just don't want to. They tread that line and they're not sure what to do. So, because it's a lot of us is something we've never done before. But we have a guest today who started her own agency right before the pandemic, and it still hit and thrived. So she's going to share some advice on how to be successful. It's going to be a great show.
All right. So as always, before we get to all that, we want you to know that this live stream is brought to you by the Content Marketing Institute. So we are the leading training and education organization for, you guessed it, all things content and marketing. So you can head over to contentmarketinginstitute.com for tons of great resources. And of course, as always, like Andy did today, when you join us, give us a virtual wave, say hello, let us know where you are joining us from. We really want to hear from you. It always makes for a more engaging live stream. So feel free to drop the questions and the comments in the comment section as we go along today, and we will try our best to get to them. And yes, Andy's in Indiana. So yeah, it's like this. You don't mind driving in the city for school. Yes. Makes it a little bit better, right?
I can imagine.
All right. Okay. So before we get started, we decided to start this year off with something a little bit different. We are going to start by sharing something that makes us smile, that makes us happy. I thought we could use a little bit of that these days. So today we're going to talk about Doug's Winter Party, which I don't know if any of you heard about this. I did not hear about this until JK told me about about it. So JK, what is this all about?
Oh, you know what, Amanda, this truly made me smile because, it's not just a heartfelt story, but it's something that went viral, that it brought together people all around the world. So, long story short, a TikTok video that I came across by a young lady named Michelle Hernandez shared a video from her doorbell ring cam of her. You can see him there. That is her neighbor, Doug. He came to her house and dropped off a handwritten note welcoming her to his winter party that was going to be held on February 15th. And I love the line, at what time it starts is 4 p.m. until the cops arrive. So Ms. Hernandez's video went viral. People all wanted to go to Doug's party, but obviously it was a very exclusive party just for his neighborhood. So what happened was people around the world started hosting their own Doug's winter party. And here's Doug like dropping off the handwritten note there to start the whole thing off. But what happened was everybody around the world, he gained thousands, hundreds of thousands of fans, millions of likes on all the social apps. And people had their own Doug's winter party, and brands donated like items. You can see like people just sending stuff. And Doug, like I found this video that I shared with you all from the Today Show where Doug was interviewed, and he's opening up boxes right there, boxes of mail that people just sent him about, like what an inspiration he was. And the one thing that I absolutely loved what Doug said in that interview on the Today Show that really made me happy is, Doug's a very old school. He's a recent widower, and he did start this party 3 years ago, just post-pandemic, just to kind of get the neighborhood together and get to know his neighbors. But the one thing that he did say that I just absolutely loved, he goes, I don't think my father would have how much of a braggart he would have thought I am of being as popular as I am, but he would write me a little bit of a reprieve for how many people I brought together, and he goes, all I wanted to do was have a sense of community in my community, but it lit a spark, and it brought community from all over the world. So it made me smile. I loved it so much. I was, from the time like right before Valentine's Day to a few days after, I'd been like just hovering TikTok. Mike, Andy just commented. Michael Bublé even sent a video to Doug, like saying he's hosting his own Doug. And now I think people are talking about this is going to be like an annual thing on February 15th of every year. People are just going to have a Doug's winter party.
Yeah. So, someone said Doug's summer party. Maybe they'll do us in Doug's summer party. Michael Bublé was, that's why he was saying that for Doug's winter party. So
and I love the fact that, people come up with their own Doug's winter party logos. I mean, it's just absolutely great. So that is what truly made me smile in a time where there's so much divisiveness, and that one really made me happy, seeing all those folks coming together just over something as simple as an elderly gentleman dropping off a handwritten note to be kind to his neighbor. So Doug's winter party. I think we should have one. Let's we should do our next year, February 15th. We'll do the live stream and have Doug's winter party. So that would be awesome.
That is I personally am leaning into community this year, and I just think I think that's a great opportunity for brands. I think that's a great opportunity. People are looking for that. I think we need more of that. So personally, I'm very happy to see that. So.
Well, it's how great. I mean, Amanda, you hit the nail on the head. People are wanting it, and there's so much opportunity here for brands to lean into something as simple as Doug's winter party, just to see how much people just really want to come together. So it's a wonderful opportunity for everybody.
So as we go forward here, if any of you have something that you saw that made you smile, please feel free to share it with us. We might put it for consideration for the next live stream. So if you ever see anything or have anything, we would love to see it. So, all right, moving on. Let's get back to today's live stream. So today's guest started her own marketing agency, get this, in January of 2020. Talk about great timing here. She had no context, no network, but she was still able to build a highly successful agency from the ground up. Right, JK?
That's right, Amanda. Today let's welcome Kathryn Strachan, excuse me, the author of the new book, Scaling for Success: How to Build a Brand That Breaks Barriers. Kathryn, welcome so much. Um, it's great having you here. We were chatting a little bit before you hopped on. Why don't you let everybody know where you're coming from today?
Hi, everyone. Hi. So I'm calling in from Edinburgh, Scotland. I live in the UK. I've lived here for 12 years now. My husband is the most Scottish person you will ever meet. He is radioactive orange, about the same orange as his color background.
Yeah, he's a bit right.
Yes, he blends in. You can see him.
Right at home.
I've been here 12 years, but I'm originally from Maine in the US, so my whole family's still there. So both the US and the UK are really close to my heart.
Fantastic.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being here. So, I mean, let's face it, it's a challenging job market out there for marketers. And you started your agency, as we said, in 2020, right before the pandemic hit. But you ended up being very successful with it. What is your advice for folks who may be struggling to find a full-time position and may be thinking about going out on their own? I mean, but they're hesitant. What would you tell them based on your experience?
I guess I'd probably tell them that it's not for everybody. I didn't know what I was getting into really when I set up an agency, and I grew my agency from just me to 32 people with over 2 million turnover before I sold and exited it. So I mean, it was a proper sized agency, but when I set it up, I had no idea what I was really getting myself into. I didn't even know that I was setting up an agency. So, I mean, before you go out on your own, it's worth thinking about what you really want. Do you just want to be a freelancer? Do you want to be a fractional? So I'm currently working as a fractional CMO, and I can tell you that life is very different than running an agency. What is it that you really want? And what's going to be the best route to get you there? It is a massive undertaking and massive responsibility to run an agency, especially when you have people on the payroll. So, I mean, it is something that you should go into intentionally rather than accidentally. But I mean, it offers some really great, amazing opportunities. I mean, my career absolutely accelerated because of it. I learned so much and I got to do so many opportunities that if I had stayed in a corporate role, so I was working at a big corporate bank before I started my agency. If I'd stayed in a corporate role, that career progression would have been a lot slower. I definitely wouldn't be where I am today. So, I mean, it has its pluses and its negatives, but it's worth thinking about and maybe perhaps even taking the time to talk to somebody who's been there and, ask them what that experience is like and, really do your research before you just dive into it.
Well, it's a perfect segue. Let's talk about a little bit about the foundations. You were just discussing. What are some of the first questions? Let's say somebody does want to, pull the trigger and start their agency. So, what would be some of the first questions people should think about before they, start building that agency or building that brand?
Yeah, I mean, I think having a really clear proposition is pretty major, especially in a crowded space like the agency. Because the agency has such a low barrier of entry, there's so many of them. There's thousands of agencies out there, both in the US and the UK. So if you want to cut through that noise, it's really important to be specific about what you do as an agency. I mean, as a small agency, you're not going to be able to do everything for everyone. And the way that you're going to be memorable is by having a really clear proposition. So this is how my agency thrived during the pandemic. When the pandemic hit, we didn't have this proposition. And one of our survival strategies was to sit down and to really define it. So we were a content marketing agency that specialized in complex industries. We worked across financial services, insurance, but our expertise was really to help brands bring complex messaging to life. Now, not a lot of other agencies do that, or at least don't do it well. So that really allowed us to punch above our weight to be able to attract clients like Meta and Cigna and some really big brand names from the very beginning, because we were able to do something very specific and very unique. It also made it a lot easier for people to refer us, to remember us for certain projects. I devote a whole chapter in the book to positioning and really thinking about where you fit in the market. And I would definitely recommend checking out the book if you're thinking about this.
Yeah. And things have changed quite a bit since you had, even in the 5 years, right? With AI coming into play here. So how, if someone's starting an agency now, how does you think AI plays into all of this? What are some things to consider if you want to integrate it into what you're offering or into your agency?
Yeah, so I mean, you should integrate it because it's going to help you do more with less. But it is thinking about how you integrate it and how you integrate it in the right way. So, I mean, I see AI as a tool. I don't see it as a be all, end all, going to save the world. And I also don't see it as something that should be dismissed. It's kind of in between. It's a bit like the internet. It's a tool that you should use in your day to day. But really, it comes down to having a strong strategy underneath it, being able to brief the AI in the right way so that you get the right results, and then taking what it gives you and adding that touch of human creativity on top of it. I almost think of it as a sandwich. You need human strategy, AI, technology, and then human creativity. I mean, you can't just have the middle bit. I mean, just eating jelly out of a jar does not taste as good as a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
It's true. That's perfect.
I mean, nobody does that. Nobody eats jelly out of the jar.
Not that I know.
Because that's just weird.
Weird. Don't do that.
Well, okay. So let's talk about another piece of advice I'm sure that you could give, having with your experience. Many founders struggle with knowing when to scale. What signs should a business look for when it's time to take it to the next level?
Yeah, I mean, I think this comes down to process and strategy. So you need a strategy underneath everything that you do, whether you're running a business or running a marketing department. And the strategy is going to be your North Star, your vision of where you're going. It's also going to help prevent you from doing all the things all at once, all at the same time. Make sure that you're doing the right things. The next thing that you want to do once you have that strategy is make sure that you have processes in place for delivery. Now, as you scale and as you grow, what you as one person or you as a small company will be able to do, the demand will outstrip that. So, I mean, for me, when I was growing my agency, like I said, I grew it from just myself to 32 people within the space of 4 years. So, I mean, that was really fast trajectory. So we were constantly looking at our current workload, at, the demands that we had from clients, at the contracts we had for clients to understand our runway, and then planning our hires in advance. I mean, when you're thinking about hiring, which is how an agency typically scales, you scale with people. You have to think in advance. You have to think up to 6 months in advance because it takes time to find the right person, to get them onboarded, to get them up to speed. So, it's not something that can just happen overnight. You really do need to think more long-term. And as a company leader, it's your job to have that long-term vision. So you need to have a 5-10-year vision for your company of where you want to go. These days, I now work as a fractional CMO. And the one thing that really drives me nuts is when I speak to a founder, they have a great vision for their company, maybe really admirable values behind the company, but they don't have that big plan. As a marketing leader, I'm like, how can I create you a marketing strategy when you don't know where you want to be in 5 years? Right. As a company leader, it's your job to know where you're going to be in 5 years, how you're going to get there, what that plan looks like. And of course, it can change over time. I mean, things like the pandemic change it. Things that you can't control change it. Things within the business changes it. And that's okay. But at least you have a plan. You have a roadmap that tells you how you're going to get from London to Edinburgh, what roads you're going to take, what path that's going to look like. And maybe along the way, you're going to hit a tree that's come down on the road and you're going to have to take a detour. But at least generally where you're going.
Yeah. So how does you have that plan, but what about, evolving that plan as you go, how to grow the brand and being adaptable without losing your core identity? Like you said, they knew what they wanted, but how do you sort of adapt to these changes? Any advice?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's all about looking at the data and the insights that you're getting. I mean, your strategy is not like a one and done. You're not going to do it once, put it in a drawer and forget about it. Your strategy needs to be a living, breathing, evolving organism that works as you do. And at any time, it's the best reflection of what you know to be true. But as you integrate new campaigns or as your business grows, you learn more things about your business. You get more insights about what your customers like. You get more data. You get more information to work with to make better informed decisions. So, I mean, when I run a marketing strategy, I'm constantly taking these insights and bringing them back in and reflecting on what they mean for the business, what they mean for the direction that we're going in, and what I then need to do to make the changes to get us to where we want to go. So it's a process of continual reflection and analyzing and really thinking about what you're doing and thinking about it strategically. It helps to have that roadmap because then you kind of know how you need to adapt and you have a rough plan of action, but the actual plan that you take when you get there may very well change. It may evolve over time. You may go off in a slightly different direction, but if you have that North Star, you're not going in 10 million different directions. You're going in one direction that maybe has a detour rather than 5, 6, 7 different directions.
Yeah. Well, it's very interesting. One thing that struck me having you as a guest is, when you started your agency, it was right during a global pandemic or right before a global pandemic. Nothing anybody saw coming, and how many people struggled to get through it, let alone from just in their daily lives, but businesses. So having your experience building and selling an agency, what advice could you give people that are going through some lean times, and how do you make it through?
Yeah, I mean, I think it probably a lot of the time it comes down to mindset. So, I mean, we definitely had some like bad times during that journey. I mean, we did well during the pandemic, and how we positioned ourselves during that massively helped, and how we invested in our team and how we like helped to grow the company. But we've had bad times for sure. And a lot of it is resilience and, knowing that there's a better future. I mean, one of my advisors used to say it's always darkest before the dawn. So, that moment where you really feel like giving up, if you just push a little bit further, you'll get to the good stuff. So, I mean, a lot of it in business comes down to mindset because, like Mike Tyson said, everybody has a plan until they get punched in the face.
True.
You don't want to get punched in the face, but
no, but it's inevitable in life. I mean, you're not always going to have sunshine and rainbows. You get all sorts of crap as well.
Yeah.
It's really about weathering those storms, having a strong leadership team around you. So, I mean, I had a head of ops who was my 4th employee, who was with me throughout that journey, who was, my best friend and like really there through thick and thin, and that massively helped. But having people around you who can support you both within the company as well as your wider network. So my husband's always been incredibly supportive of me, is massively helpful because you are going to go through peaks and troughs. I mean, all businesses do, and you'll come out the other side, but you've got to ride the wave sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
As Andy shares, knowing what you want is so important. I am a consultant and have no interest in building a full-scale agency, but that means I have to pull in strategic partners if clients need work in areas she doesn't specialize in, like graphics or public relations as well. And I think a lot of people can do that as well. So what's one thing you want people to sort of take away or understand about, going out on your own to build an agency or a consultancy? What's kind of one big takeaway from that?
Yeah, I mean, it's an incredible experience, but you do have those highs and lows, and sometimes in the same exact day. I have a friend who is an agency owner, and her therapist says that running an agency is the closest she's ever seen to being addicted to drugs, which is controversial.
Wow.
But you really do have that high and that low in the same day, and it really, takes you for a wild ride. So, I mean, it's a lot of fun, but, you're going to have your challenges, you're going to have your ups and your downs. It's going to push you to your breaking point, but you're also going to learn more than you could possibly ever learn in a full-time role. So, I mean, just be ready for it, be as strong as you can be mentally and, go into it. But also, like Andy said, know what you want. Sometimes it's okay to not run a full-scale agency. So at the moment, I'm a fractional CMO and I have no interest or desire in running an agency again. I'm not going to start another one. I'm happy being a fractional CMO. So, I mean, you don't have to scale a big agency. It's all about what you really want in your life and the different life chapters. At the moment, I want to spend a lot of time with my daughter, who's 7. I want to promote my new book, and I want to do some passion projects rather than, being responsible for a full agency again. So, I mean, success looks like different things. It doesn't have to be about money. It doesn't have to be about fame. There are other ways to be successful and to be happy, and you really just need to listen to yourself.
And the book is Scaling Success, How to Build a Brand That Breaks Barriers. So what do you hope people get from the book?
Yeah, I mean, it's packed full of lots of actionable advice as well as personal stories of things that went right and things that went wrong during my journey. But I mean, I hope that people get from the book how to build and launch a marketing strategy. You should find everything you need in there.
Great. And we'll drop the link in there to get the book on Amazon. Where can people, so on Amazon, we can get the book. Where can people connect with you?
Yeah, connect with me on LinkedIn. I also have a podcast called Marketers Unleash, which you can listen to. It's on Spotify. But yeah, drop me a note on LinkedIn.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Kathryn. We appreciate you taking the time to chat with us, and we hope you have a good rest of the week.
Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Thanks, Kathryn. All right. Awesome. Yeah, we dropped the link there to her book in the comments for you to grab as well. All right, so we are just about wrapped here, but we have lots of things going on here at Content Marketing Institute. Let me pull this up here. So the first thing, even though it's a balmy, 40 degrees where we are, balmy 40. I am dreaming of sunny San Diego. So registration is now open for Content Marketing World 2025. This year, it's September 15th through the 17th. If you register now, you will score the best rates for the conference. So get on over to contentmarketingworld.com and register. If you have any questions about it, please let us know. We're happy to answer it, and we would love to see you. And that's not all, JK, right?
That is right. We'd love to see you, but we'd also love to see you speak, too. So, hey, our call for speakers are now for Content Marketing World is still open, but not for much longer. So we're looking for bold ideas and actionable advice to inspire marketers to elevate their careers and drive their business forward. So you can apply at this link, the CMI Media /Speaker 25. We'll drop it in the show notes as well. And yeah, we would love to have you out. I mean, come on. Amanda, this seems to be the running thing for you and I chatting about this every time. Not only is it a great event, it's like a homecoming for all of us, but it's in San Diego, the happiest spot. I mean, it's like perpetually 78 degrees in San Diego.
Yes.
9 o'clock, 6 o'clock in the morning till 9 o'clock at night. Come on, let's go.
Yes, it is very nice there. And we also want you to know that that's not all. The Content Marketing Awards just opened for entries. So it's the largest and longest running international content marketing awards program in the world. We recognize the best in strategy and content creation, visual and audio storytelling. So head on over to contentmarketingawards.com and submit your entries today. We love to see all the great work that content marketers are doing. We love to award them and recognize them. It's one of our favorite parts of our job. So please head on over there and do that as well.
I agree. It's so inspiring to see everything come in. I've been a judge since the jump, and it's just amazing to me. Not just how great way back when we started this program, but the evolution and how cool some of these projects are getting year on year, and these content strategies and the design and everything. I mean, it's just mind blowing. So I'm really looking forward to this year's submissions. It's just gonna every year just get better and better. And we love giving out awards. You're
we do love to do that. All right. So thank you all so much for joining us. Thank you to Kathryn for joining us. So we will be back again next month for another awesome episode of Live with CMI. So until then, we hope you all are well and you stay warm. Until next time, we'll see you.
See you later.